Hello everyone. So today we're going to share with you one of the biggest problems that actually buyers have faced today. In fact, I think one of the biggest problems that buyers face today is that based on the budget that they have, they actually see a unit that they like, they will buy it. Nothing wrong. But the fact here is that if some of the things, some of the homework you didn't do properly or correctly, then you might be making a mistake of about $200,000. And the worst thing is you won't even realize it. Alright, so today we're going to share 3 hacks that actually help you to buy 200k cheaper than your neighbors. But before we start, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and this gives me a lot more motivation. I'm very thankful for all the views that I get and all the likes and comments. Thank you for looking out for me, and please continue to look forward to my content. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing that we want to understand is what is the price gap between the same unit types. So for the first example we look at is Cassia. So we look at stack 10 and stack 18. If you can see here, both are actually the same size as 656 square feet. And by right, based on them, they're side by side, their views, or rather to say the facing, is it also the same, right? So I think we can all agree they're of the same facing lah. So by right, if they're the same facing, same size, the price also same? I will also think so. But let's take a look, okay? There you have it. So both of these units are actually on the same floor. I mean, to be fair, they must be all correct, So both are transacted on 20th of July, but you see the price difference, right, is about 108,000 between this and this. Very strange, eh? So why is this happening? So during the booking day of a new launch, right, developer, if they were to place both the units side by side or at the same price, right, it's very hard for buyers to choose a unit because same price, same facing, there's no push factor for them to so-called go into it. However, once you see a certain price gap that is between the similar or the same unit, it's easy for the buyers to so-called make a decision and to move forward. So can I say actually majority of the people will actually go for stack 10, right? If now we are looking at this, you will definitely go for stack 10 ma. But what if on booking day you didn't know? Would you have actually went for this instead? Why? 18 ma, lucky number ma, right? And you spend an extra $100,000. So you realize that this one homework that we do, right, can really save you at least $100,000 already. Okay, so this is the first one. The second one that we actually talk about is premium and non-premium facing. This is the most common considerations that the buyers will usually have. Should I buy premium facing is better? Which is not wrong. Why? If I buy premium facing, what the common agreement is that, I can be able to sell faster in the future, right? Number 2, I will be able to sell for a higher profit. Well, this may be true, it may also not be true. Why? It's actually being determined by one very simple factor, which is your entry price. So when we are looking at a unit to choose, right, the premium facing and the non-premium facing, what is the price gap they actually have? If the price gap is too huge, I would prefer we rather go for the non-premium. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. So this is Grand Diamond. We're looking at stack 27 and stack 48. So stack 27 is the pool facing, okay, while stack 48 is actually the landed facing. In this project itself, right, the most premium facing is the landed, okay? Of course, the pool is the secondary lah. So that's why you see between the pool and landed facing, right, there will definitely be a price gap. But the most important question is, what is that price gap? Okay, we take a look. You see, stack 27, okay, transacted on 14 July at about 2.698 million. Stack 48 transacted one day later at 15 July at how much? 2.922 million. The price gap here is almost 230,000. Wow. So why is this important? I'm actually sharing this with you. You realize in this project itself, right, the premium facing versus the not so premium facing is a price gap of $230,000. Yes, there might be a chance that people will like the landed facing better, they will sell for a high profit. Nothing wrong. However, my question is that actually something that you can be very confident of? Because this is really up to the next buyer whether they can accept or not. So if you can see here, so-called the exit itself is unsure already. The exit is very unsure. Why? If I'm stack 27, okay, I buy at 2.698 million, right? 3 years later, if I want to sell to make $300,000, all I have to do is actually sell about $3 million, right? Simple math. But if I'm the one who bought stack 48, in order for me to make 300,000, right, I need to sell about 3.3 million because I pay extra 200,000 more ma. But what if at that point of time, right, the market cannot accept $3.3 million for your 3-bedroom? What can you do? Can I say for stack 48, the most natural things that they will do if they cannot sell at this price is 2 things. Number 1, drop price, right? Number 2, I hold and wait. Of course, when you hold and wait, costs kick in, your MCST, your mortgage, etc. All these start to kick in already. Okay, that is where you realize if you are looking at the stack 48% at that point of time, right, you may be risky. If you're telling me for own stay, fine. But if you're buying for investment, the exit may be slower, which actually incur more costs. And you might actually have to sell at let's say a not so much higher profit. Whereas our Stack 27, $3 million, if let's say 3.3 cannot accept, 3 million also cannot accept, never mind, I sell 2.98, which is already accepted by my neighbor in the development. So the second thing you will understand is the price gap between the premium and non-premium facing must be managed. If it's too high, it's very hard for you to exit in the future. Okay, the last example that I have is high floor versus low floor. This is the most classic one that we have. So we take a look. This is Commonwealth Towers. So can I just ask you guys, if you are the buyer today, okay, level 39 versus level 3. Okay, level 39 is a super high floor, level 3 is a lower floor. Which one will you prefer? 3, 2, 1. Can I say majority of you will pick level 39? In fact, if I am you, I will also pick level 39. Why? Unblocked view, well ventilated, and it's nice right? It's more welcoming right? But same thing, we also need to understand the price gap between the low floor and the high floor. What is the difference that we're looking at? Okay, so for level 39, okay, you realize they actually made a profit of $100 over $1,000. Okay, not too bad. But for level 3, wow, they make 3 times more, which is $345,000. So why is this happening? So you realize the first thing is that when level 39 bought, right, they bought at about 1,700 plus PSF, while level 3 bought about 1,003, 1,004 PSF. So here the price, the PSF difference is about 400 PSF. Okay, but when they sell in the resale market, you realize this price gap drops to about only $40 PSF. Don't quote me, this is just general math, yeah? Okay, but you realize why is this happening? Because as a new launch when they bought, right, developer will price the unit with a per floor jump. Some go by maybe by a certain 5,000, 10,000, some go by percentage. So that is why the low floor, high floor, there will be a certain price gap to it. However, when you go into the resale market, right, the sellers are just selling their unit. They will just look at what my neighbors are selling and they try to come up with their own numbers usually. They try to maybe plus minus a bit. So that's why you realize that the low floor and high floor will never have a price gap of $400, because doesn't mean that by 1,300 plus PSF, I only want to sell 1,600, right? If my neighbor can sell 1,900, why don't I try to sell for 1,800? So that is why you realize this is actually happening. So the important thing here is that if you're actually buying this for an investment per se, would it be good for you to actually save $400 PSF and in turn turn that into your profit in the future? So that is why you see this is a very common mistakes that actually some buyers will actually fall into or rather make, because emotional. They will start to be very emotional about purchase. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that the numbers must make sense also. Alright, so if you have an investment property that you are looking to be purchasing but not sure whether it's a safe purchase or not, or you want to be exploring some form to grow your assets or to be maybe looking to upgrading your home, please feel free to reach out to me and I can share more with you how we can actually move on from here. Thank you and I'll see you soon. Bye!